So you just keep getting beat up in sparring, huh? Just can't stop nothing. Can't stop the jab. Can't stop the hook. Definitely can't stop the body shot. None of it. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today, we are going to be talking about how to stop getting beat up in sparring. This is something that happens all the time. It's going to happen if you're a boxer. You're going to do good in some sparrings. You're going to do bad on some sparrings, but there's ways to fix it. So we're going to be talking about that today. Before the video starts, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm actually recording this on Halloween, so drop in the comments what you wore for Halloween, or if you did anything for Halloween. Eat some candy, check your candy, but let's get into the video. All right, first things first. If you're starting off at a gym, if you're sparring, it's been like 2 weeks, you're like, man, coach, I'm ready to get in there. We're going to start sparring. I'm going to get some good work in. Do not expect to go in there and be Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, or just great at sparring, especially if you've never been in a fight before. You've never done this before. This is something new to you, especially, like I said, if you've never been in a fight, just getting punched in the face might be a lot. I've literally seen people get in the ring and they just get overwhelmed by people throwing punches at them. And that's perfectly natural. They've never fought before. Fighting is not natural. It's not something that we just do in day-to-day life. Fight or flight is a very real thing, and you might just have to switch that knob, and that might take some time to adjust to. And on that note, the biggest thing I can say is do not get discouraged by 1 bad sparring sessions, 2 bad sparring sessions, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter. Just keep coming, and eventually it'll add up. One of my favorite quotes on this planet is 1% better every single day. If you compound 1% every single day, you're gonna be great. So it's just gonna take time. You're not gonna be good in a week. You're not gonna be good in 2 weeks. You're not gonna be good in a month. But by that month, look back at where you started, look where you are now, and I guarantee there's some improvement. And that's what matters in boxing, improvement. So honestly, that's the biggest tip right there. Just come in and keep being consistent. The more you are consistent with something, the better you're gonna be. Think about when you first started boxing. You probably didn't know anything. And now you feel confident enough to spar. That's an improvement right there. So same thing with sparring. It's just levels to it. You just got to get used to it. Now, let's say you've been boxing for a while and you're still not doing as good as you want to in sparring. Here's some things that you might be able to use. Number 1, always go back to the basics. Go back to the fundamentals. Fundamentals are everything in boxing. If you look at any world champion, any great fighter, they had great fundamentals. Whether that's your jab, your head movement, just even your stance could be the problem. So if you're really struggling in sparring, revisit your stance, revisit your jab, revisit all the fundamentals, because it's honestly the simplest fix is probably the answer. For instance, let's say people are hitting you with too many combos. There could be a few reasons. Number 1, maybe you're not moving your head enough. Number 2, maybe you're not throwing your jab enough so they feel comfortable letting all those shots go. Maybe you're not trading in between. Maybe you need to work on your counters. There's always little things you can fix in the big scheme of things. Everybody wants to jump these, oh man, well, I gotta learn Philly show because I saw Mayweather stop the 2, and no, you don't. No, you don't. Go back to basics, learn maybe some simple counters. It's always going to be a small answer for a big problem. You feel me? Another thing I really want to talk about is a lot of times people will join my lives, comment on my TikTok videos about this. People will talk about just gassing out in sparring. How do I stop gassing out in sparring? I can do a whole workout, but I'm gassing out when I'm sparring. Here's the reason. This is honest to God truth. The reason you're gassing out when you're sparring may not be your conditioning. If you work out every day, it's definitely not your conditioning. The reason you're gassing out when you're sparring is because you're tight, right? Think about trying to do bench reps, right? So I'm on the bench, I'm putting up just the bar. Imagine trying to do that for 3 minutes straight. That's not possible. You're not going to be able to put up the bench for 3 minutes straight. So if you can, you just different. I guess you in the NFL, whatever. But the normal person is not going to be able to do that. And the reason is because you're tight the whole time. There's weight on your hands. There's a lot going on. Same thing when you box. If my hands are tight like this the whole time, my shoulders are tight, and I try to hold that for 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. If y'all hear Coco in the background, she's scratching the paws. But if I try to hold that for 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, I'm going to get tight. I'm going to gas. You cannot expect to last 3 3-minute rounds, 3 2-minute rounds in the ring while your shoulders and your fists are balled up. You got to relax, especially when you're not breathing. I can barely even hold my breath for 30 seconds, much less 2 3 minutes. You got to breathe. So literally the next time you go in the spar, just remember, you're going to feel that tension happen. I'm a big person in visualization. Visualize yourself sparring. I guarantee you feel it if this is your problem. Fists are balled up, shoulders tight. Remember, relax, drop those shoulders. The only time the hands really need to be closed is at the end of the punch. One is going to make your hand defense better, and plus it's going to take the strain off your forearms. And then the last little thing is when shots start coming back at you, Anybody can remember to breathe when they punch. That's like one of the first things they teach you. But where a lot of people mess up is when they get on the inside, when they start trading, when people start throwing punches back at them, they'll stop breathing. They'll hold their breath because there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of adrenaline pushing. There's a lot of emotions going, especially if you don't really spar too much or you're just getting into sparring. There's a lot of stuff going on, so you gotta relax. And the last thing I want you guys to think is that this doesn't happen to every boxer, because most boxers go through the same thing that you're going through, where they are starting to spar or they're just getting beat up in sparring too much. Maybe you got one fight, maybe you got 10 fights. I've gone through slumps and I got 25 fights where I just kept getting beat up in sparring. One thing you have to remember is sometimes there's going to be trying stuff out in sparring. Sparring isn't the place where you got to put on your A game and perform and be a world champion. Sparring is the place where you try new stuff out. And if it doesn't work, scratch it and start again. To that same breath though, I personally remember when I first started travel sparring, I would literally go to gyms hour away, 2 hours away, hour and a half away, and just get dog walked. I get dog walked, but I kept coming back, and now eventually, after coming back maybe 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, there was a switch that flipped, and then I just started being better than them. And when I say I was getting dog walked, like, I wasn't just getting beat up and like standing there and taking it. No, I was getting dropped. I was, every single time I go travel spar, I was getting dropped. And then eventually over time, I guess the mind got right, toughened up a little bit. I started dropping them. I started whipping up on them. I started doing better than them. So honestly, good things just take time. And the main point, I've been saying the whole video, don't get discouraged. You feel me? Because the last thing you need is to have one bad sparring sessions or a few bad sparring sessions and think it's the end of the world. You're not fighting for a world championship in sparring. You're not fighting for it isn't a fight. You're trying stuff out. It's the drawing board. They call it the lab for a reason. Go in the lab, work on some things. If it doesn't work out, scratch it, do it. If it does work out, cool. Keep it, add the next thing. That's all it is, really. That's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I guarantee the next time you spar, if you listen to this video and you just do what I said, you will 5,000 million% do better. You got to be in it for the long haul, though. You're not going to be a world champion one sparring session, 2 sparring sessions, 100 sparring sessions. You're not going to do great every sparring session. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. I made a TikTok about this earlier. In boxing, the only terrible thing about it, well, one of the worst things about it, is a bad day for us is our pride gets hurt because we get beat up. It's not like basketball where we go to practice or you have a bad game and you miss a bunch of shots and you're just going to come back and be good. No, like if I go to boxing and I hop in that ring and I get beat up, that black eye, that busted lip hurt. I'm trying to eat my food and the salt get in and now it's like, ow. And also, boxing is very prideful, so your pride get hurt a little bit too. So just know it's normal. Tell yourself it's normal. You're not always going to be at 100. You're not always going to have a world championship-esque day. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days, and you just got to be okay with that. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, it's Halloween when I'm filming this. Hopefully you had a good Halloween. Happy Halloween. I love you guys. Tell somebody you love them. Don't let nobody ruin your day. You better not let nobody ruin your day or I'm going to be upset because it's your day. Like, what? Tell somebody you love them. Don't let nobody ruin your day. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, guys.